Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another edition of Teed Up. I'm David.
I'm Justin.
And as always, we appreciate you tuning in. A lot to talk about this week, even though we're still under quarantine. There's still so much going on. We're actually getting news from Shams and Woj literally as we speak. So we're getting a lot about the NBA coming back, the practicing going on, what practice facilities are opening, how they're going to continue the season, and the ideas that they have. So there's a lot to talk about. But before I get into that, I wanted to shout out a brand called Basketball Empire. It's basically their brand. They mix streetwear and basketball attire and put it together so you can not only wear it out, but you can also play basketball in it. It's a great brand, and we actually have a discount for you. If you use the code TEEDUP30 at their checkout on their website, bballempire.com, you get 30% off your order at checkout. That is TDUP30. So we'll put the link in the description for that. And so let's get into this news. The NBA is coming back. We just got a bunch of tweets from Shams and Woj saying that Adam Silver was on the phone with a couple players, if not all the players, saying how the season should progress, talking about that no fans would be expected if the season resumes, and which is a big deal because 40% of revenue comes from the fans, buying jerseys, buying tickets, food at the concession stands, things like that. The season decision can go into June. And two locations that they have, which is what we mentioned in our first episode, was Disneyland in Orlando, Florida, and Las Vegas. So the league is also hoping for daily testing and no stoppage of play, and all players must self-isolate and stay in quarantine. So I think that that's a good deal, especially that's, any way to get basketball back is a great move. We went through this in our first episode. I think, if you can bring it back and you can have the daily testing and you can have, players stay in quarantine, media stay in quarantine, not have fans, make sure to keep the gatherings as little as possible and still be able to have the league, I think that that's a great move. What are your thoughts, Justin?
I agree. I like it, but I'm not sure how realistic this is. I don't think it's actually going to be possible for them to do this. I just don't see them having this control over the players and be able to tell them you must self-isolate and all that. I don't think that just doesn't feel right to me. I don't think it's really possible. And if we're continuing the NBA season, this could go on for months. I mean, I don't think players are going to leave their families, all that stuff, leave that all behind to finish it. I think you almost have to do a shorten it up, come up with some new idea on how to finish it, because I don't think one location like that is really going to work. It could, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I agree it's very unrealistic because they had a report out while we were making the script, but we got all this new information literally, 30 minutes ago that
not even,
maybe like 10 minutes ago. I think on my phone is actually still buzzing and getting notifications.
Oh, yeah.
So the information that we could have might be like irrelevant at this point by the time that this goes up. But this is just the information that we're getting literally 10 minutes ago. But last week we got a report saying that MGM is offering the NBA an entire block of the Vegas Strip. It's going to be basically a fully quarantined campus where players can actually live with their families and the media will be allowed. They're going to open up spas, restaurants, and casinos to keep them occupied. So that to me sounds unrealistic because not only do you have to test every player, every media person, every coach, every medical staff on every team, you have to test the chefs, the casinos employees, you have to test the spa employees. So you're looking at over-under of 15,000 tests. And we have a shortage of not just athletes getting tests, but everyone in America is having a shortage of getting tests here. So I think it's a very unrealistic thing to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, actually earlier today, they came out, the National Basketball Players Association president, Michelle Roberts, came out and said that it's almost off the table, this idea. It's just not like physically possible. I mean, it's floated out. This idea has been floating out there, but like she said, are we going to have armed guards around the hotels? Like, how would you realistically prevent them from going out? Like, that just doesn't make sense. We all want this to happen, but it seems like we're almost pushing for it rather than it's closer. in our imaginations than it actually is in real life, I think. I don't
Yeah,
think this is actually a realistic concept.
yeah, and I think one thing is, people are kind of in denial. I think people just really want sports back, and I think they're kind of going through like the bargaining phase of like the stages of grief. You know what I mean? Because they're saying, well,
Hmm.
what if we do this? What if we don't have fans? What if we have them quarantine in Disneyland? So I don't know. I think it's just not realistic. I 100% agree with you. As much as I want the NBA back, as much as I love watching this game, I really cannot see them returning at all. Not even with the playoffs, to be honest with you, until life gets back to normal. Honestly.
I agree with that. I mean, see, my idea is still if they do something like this, I think you need I said this last time, but you need like a March Madness type tournament, like a tournament structure, go over, play games and within a week and then have it be over with. I think if they do this, they can't have it stretch out for a long period of time. There's no way they'd have 7 game playoff series for sure. You'd have to shorten that. You'd almost have single elimination or best of 3, best of 5. But I don't
Mhm.
know. I just don't think this is a realistic possibility.
No, and we went over that in our last episode. Me personally, I think that you should do it how the MLB does it. You have best of three for the first 2 rounds, and then the conference finals and the
Hmm.
NBA finals. You could have best of seven. Maybe that could work out, but this is all speculation, and this is all what if nonsense. So I don't personally believe that any of this information is realistic, but we'll be hopeful to see what happens. The league is still talking as we speak. Again, our information could be faulty, so we have no idea what's to come in the next few months.
Definitely. Um, Now, our next topic here, we're going to talk about Victor Oladipo, and he was kind of insulted by the Pacers extension offer that he received. He got a deal that was 4 years, around 80 million, and he's currently has 1 year left on his 4 year, $84 million contract. He did not play at all in the 2018 season due to knee injuries, and he has just returned. It was January 29th, actually. He's just getting back into the rhythm of things before the suspension. How do you think this should play out? What are your thoughts on the contract offer Oladipo received?
Well, Victor Oladipo is a tremendous player, top five shooting guard in the league, one of the best players in this league. But he does have injury problems. He is injury prone. That's not even debatable. He has problems with injuries. So I could totally understand the Pacers not wanting to take a risk. Now, here's the thing. Let's say a team like the Knicks or the Bulls who are tanking and need a young star like a Victor Oladipo, if they need somebody like that on their team, maybe they will offer a big contract like that. And maybe the Pacers can step in and say, well, we don't want to lose him to the Knicks. We don't want to lose him to another Eastern Conference team. Maybe we should throw the money out. So I could see why the Pacers didn't give him this contract. And I agree with it. I wouldn't do it either. As injury prone as he is, I wouldn't want to take the risk either.
I agree with that. I mean, for me, I agree with both sides in this situation. I think Oladipo is a very good player. I think he deserves more than 80 million based on his skills. But with the knee issues, I like totally understand why the Pacers are hesitant to give him the money he wants. I mean, if he hits the open market, like you said, I believe the team will certainly pay him more than the 80 million he was offered. Now, the Pacers are able to exceed the cap to sign Oladipo, so they can match basically any offer that he'd get in the open market.
Yeah,
But
and that's what I. Mhm.
it would take a significant financial commitment from Indy to keep the foursome of Oladipo, Sabonis, Brogdon, and Turner that they've built. So I'm not sure that would actually happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Oladipo's name in kind of some trade talks, once the
Absolutely.
offseason hits and up until the trade deadline, if an extension isn't worked out. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
It's funny that you brought up, the four of them, Sabonis, Miles
Mm-hmm.
Turner. And if you remember, the Pacers still made the playoffs without Oladipo, and they still gave the Eastern Conference a run for their money in the playoffs. So if they lose Oladipo, is it that much of a loss? Because what if he just gets injured again after you give him all that money? You still have Sabonis, you still have Miles Turner, you still have all this young talent that you can rely on. So if you really lose him to a team like the Knicks or the Bulls or somebody that's not going to make the playoffs or just not going to be a competitor, I don't see what's the worry? I I don't get it.
I agree, and that's why I think they could definitely end up looking at trade options. I mean, if they could get a return for him, get a couple draft picks, maybe another young player or a vet to help their team, I think they could do that. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to get into our top 5 players. So the way that we determine this is we're turning injuries on. So we're not going to have KD in here. We're not going to have Stephen Curry, unfortunately. If we were doing when healthy, we would have Curry and KD. Obviously, I'm sure you agree. KD and Curry are top 5 players in the league when healthy. But the fact of the
Yeah,
matter is that
definitely,
that
easily.
they just were not healthy.
Actually, maybe not KD, but Curry. Yeah,
Curry, I think KD's a top 5 player. You don't think
I don't
KD's a
know about
top
it.
5? You don't think KD's a top 5 player in the league?
I want to see him come back from his injury first. Achilles injuries are very, very hard to come back from. They've ruined Boogie's career, Ryan
Yeah,
Howard
but
in
we're talking
baseball.
about Kevin Durant. We're talking about a player that you've never seen before.
I know, but
6'10".
he's getting up there in age too.
Yeah, but 6'10", not even 6'10". He's taller than that. He can shoot, he can drive, he can defend. He's got an amazing wingspan. Top 5, easily. Easily. I think he'll come
I
back from
wouldn't
this
get
Achilles injury strong. And I think
before the injury. Yes, he's top 5. After, I'm not. There's a lot of young talent coming up. I wouldn't guarantee it. I'm not saying he isn't necessarily.
but you've seen him in the
I
gym.
wouldn't
You've
make it
seen
a
him on
lock though.
social media in the gym, and you've seen him working out, and he looks great. He looks phenomenal. He looks like Kevin Durant.
So did DeMarcus Cousins.
That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. They're two different players.
I'm just saying, just
We're
wait
talking
till
about
he
Kevin
comes.
Durant. We're talking about at one point in time, he was the best player in the league.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he's still good. I just am not sure he's definitely like a top 5 lock.
What do you mean still good? What does that mean?
Injuries.
What
You
about
don't know he's
injury?
gonna be the same player. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah, but he's what, 32, 33?
I don't know off the top of my head, but he's getting up there. Not that he won't. I'm saying he'll still be productive, but I'm not sure he'll be that elite scorer that we've seen. Achilles injuries are very, very hard to come back from. So I'm just saying.
I know, but again, he's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, you definitely have a point. I mean, before he was a lock top 3 player.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into our top 5. I guess I'll go first. So
Go
at
first.
number 5, I have Luka Doncic. Now, I've been a fan of this kid for I don't know why I'm calling him a kid because he's older than me, but I've been a fan of him for a while. He's phenomenal. He's 6th in points, 4th in assists, he has the 4th highest efficiency rating in the league. And even if you take all the stats out, if you watch the Dallas Mavericks and you watch Luka Doncic, you know that when he's hot, he stays hot. He does not cool off at all. He can do anything. He's an amazing defender. He can shoot. He's just so athletic. He's got hops. He's got it all. I think him and Kristaps Porzingis are going to make a huge run when the league comes back. I think, and this is a really unpopular opinion, I think he'll be the MVP next year. So that's who I have at number 5. At number
The only thing
4,
about Luka, I gotta interrupt you about Luka. You said how hot he was. He kind of cooled off there. He got hurt, kind of slowed down. He's
yeah, but
very
that's
young
not his
still.
fault.
And the Mavericks, when he was hurt, he missed a good chunk of time there. Not a lot, but he missed a decent amount. And the Mavericks still were able to put up good numbers. They were winning basketball games without him. So I wouldn't say they're necessarily a bad team without him. But he's definitely a great player. I'm not sure I'd put him in my top 5 yet, though.
Well, I don't.
Next year possibly, but still a little young.
Well, next year I think he'll be the best player in the league.
Hot
There's no
take.
way. At number 4, I have Anthony Davis of the Lakers. Obviously you know his stats. You know how amazing he is. He's got an amazing mid-range, post-up moves, defense. He's athletic, one of the most athletic big men in the league. You can always rely on him every single night. He's an amazing two-way player. He's so versatile again, on offense, on defense. So at number 4, I got to go with AD. At number 3, I'm going to go with Kawhi. Basically just for the fact what has been said, what hasn't been said about Kawhi that's already been said. 8th in points, so he's an amazing scorer. His jump shot, he's athletic, he can drive. Great player. And he's an amazing defender. He's won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. And he's such an amazing defender that when he guards forwards, he holds them to less than 40% from the field. And when he guards, He holds them to 36% on average. So with that defense alone, I got to go with number 3. Number 2, you already know, the man that got me into this game, the man that I look up to, one of my favorite childhood heroes. You see all 4 jerseys right there. The King, LeBron James. 35 years old. Like fine wine, he gets better with age. He is amazing. He's still so dominant. He's still leading the league with stats. He led the Lakers to the first seed this year. Him and AD are amazing together. He is such a great player. You wouldn't even tell if he's 35. He's playing like some 25-year-olds are. That's how amazing he is. He's still the king, still amazing, but not good for number 1 because the number 1 I have Giannis. Giannis has the highest efficiency in the NBA. He's 30 points, 30 rebounds. As a small forward, he's 30 rebounds. Even if you don't agree with me having him at the number 1 spot, you got to admit, being 30 rebounds as a small forward, that's pretty impressive. Wouldn't you?
Pretty tall for a small forward, though.
Yeah, but still.
I know.
As out of his position, that's still. And even if he's listed as small forward, he could play any position because of how tall he is and how his wingspan is, and he's so versatile. Again, with his defense and offense. So that's my list. I got Luka 5, AD number 4, Kawhi 3, LeBron King James at 2, and Giannis at number 1.
It's not
What
a
do you
bad
think
list.
about that?
It's not a bad list at all. It's different than mine, but it's definitely not a bad list. We have some few names there. Only one player's in the same spot, but we'll go through here. So first, at 5, I have Embiid, Davis, either one. I have them 1A or 5A, 5B, whichever one you want to put there. I think they're the 2 best big men in the league without a doubt. I mean, they're so athletic, great on defense, amazing on offense. Give them the ball in the post, they'll finish. Give the ball mid-range, hit the jump shot, 3-pointer, hit the jump shot. They can guard out in the perimeter, guard in the paint. They're both almost the same player. They're both unicorns. They're both just so spectacular. I don't think you can really pick. I'd say Embiid's obviously the best center. Davis is the best power forward. I'd say either one, whoever you want to put there, I don't disagree with you. I think they're basically the same player there. You got anything on that?
I don't think Embiid should be top 5.
Really?
I agree. He's the best center in the league, but to be top 5, you have to stay healthy. And Embiid has had health problems his entire career. So for me, I don't think he's top 5. I love Embiid. I'm a diehard Sixers fan, as you are. I just don't think he's ready to be the top 5 yet. Maybe top 10, definitely top 10. But to be top 5, you have to be reliable, and he's not with his health.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I just think with his ability to do everything when he's healthy, you got to put him up there with Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis may have a slight edge on him because he can stay healthy more often. He's healthy more often. He's more durable. But outside of that, I don't blame you for picking him. Now, number 4, I have my man James Harden.
Ew.
He is the best scorer in the NBA. He can score in the paint, mid-range, and outside the arc. He can even hit the deep ball. If there was a 4-point line, he'd definitely be able to hit that. He also makes his team better. He always is up there in assists. He can play point guard or shooting guard, and he's just so versatile. He has scored 30 points for 3 consecutive seasons. He has 34 points this year, 36 the year before, and the year before that he had 30. He is currently shooting a solid 43%, not bad, 35 from 3. So I just think his all-around ability to score, he's clearly the most talented scorer in the league right now. Yeah,
Are you done? Are you done?
Yes, go on.
2 words. Or 1 word. I don't know if it's 1 word or 2 words. Stat patter. Sure, he
not a stat pattern.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. He is absolutely a stat pattern. And so is Russell Westbrook. They will get destroyed in the playoffs, so whoever they play.
Is that why they beat the Lakers in LA?
That's the regular season. You know how James Harden is in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly how he is. He always chokes in the playoffs.
Is he the one that chokes, or is it CP3? Because if I remember correctly, he's always performed in the playoffs. He's always putting up numbers.
Yeah, he's always stat padded in the playoffs. James Harden does not care about his team. He cares about his individual stats. He cares about getting his triple doubles. He cares about getting the MVP, but he does not care about how the Houston Rockets do. I
That
can't say that
is
about. I
so
think that
false.
I can say that about Russell. I can't say that about Russell Westbrook because at least Russell Westbrook cares about winning or losing. He is a stat pattern. But James Harden, I don't think he cares. I think he
How can you
cares
say
about
that?
because all he does is just he tries to get fouled, go to the free throw line. He gets a third of his points from the free throw line. He just cares about
Just like
dropping
LeBron,
40
just like
points a game.
Kawhi,
That's
just like
not what
Giannis.
LeBron does. Don't give me that.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
LeBron cares about winning.
I didn't
You
say winning. You
know
said gets to the free throw line. They all get to the free throw line. Harden just invented a new way to get there.
LeBron
He's
just doesn't
evolving
care
the
about
game.
LeBron doesn't care just about scoring and getting his 40 points a game. LeBron cares about so much more than that. I don't think James Harden cares about if the Rockets win or lose. He just says, "Hey, if I got 35 points a game, if I got a triple double, good night for me."
That's so not true. He
That is
cares
so
about
true.
winning a lot.
That is so true. He does not care about winning.
Just because his stats are good and his poor teammate play, he has poor teammate play, does not mean he is a stat pattern.
So if he has poor teammate play, then that means he doesn't care about winning, right? He doesn't care about his team.
Then why is he always successfully in the middle of the pack in the strong West when he's a lone
What does
star
he
on a
do?
team?
What does he do in the playoffs?
Nothing, because he's a lone star going up against teams with multiple stars.
No, because he just cares about his individual stats.
He
He
does
had
not.
CP3. He had James Harden. He had
He
Clint
is James
Capella.
Harden. Clint Capella's
He is
not
James.
that great in today's game. Clint Capella's unfit today's
He's
game.
one of the best centers in the league. What are you talking about?
No, he is not. He doesn't. If this were 10 years ago, yes, I agree with you, but he does not. He can't shoot. He's DeAndre Jordan. He's out of the league, basically. He can't play. You need a shooter.
What's your number?
I'll move on.
Yeah, please.
Number 3. Number 3 is Giannis. Giannis is incredible, obviously. He's having a great year, but his inability to shoot the ball cannot put him above the next 2 guys on my list. His inability to shoot the ball is just a liability. You know how to guard him. He went up Sixers Christmas Day. Let him shoot the ball. He played pathetic. You put my next 2 guys are LeBron and Kawhi, obviously. Put them out there. You give them that space, they're going to hit that shot. Giannis can't hit that. That's the only reason I have him below them. If he learns to hit that shot, then I can put him above there. But right now I cannot because he doesn't have a jump shot.
I want to get into Giannis, but before that, just who's at 2 and who's at 1?
2, I have LeBron James. LeBron's currently averaging 25.7 points per game, shooting 49%, 35 from 3, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. That's a good stat line. He's clearly arguably the best player. Exactly. He ages perfect. He is playing better as his career goes on. He's evolved as a passer, added a jump shot, which Giannis hasn't yet, which is why I have him above Giannis. Now, finally, number 1, I have Kawhi. Kawhi is averaging 27 points per game, shooting 47% from the field.
Tremendous.
37 from 3, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.8 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. The reason I have Kawhi above LeBron is because Kawhi can do everything LeBron can, except he can actually defend. He's up there in age now. He's not the best defender anymore. He takes a lot of plays off. Kawhi does not take plays off on the defensive end, so I have to give it to him. The other reason is he can score at every level, and most importantly, he has that clutch gene that LeBron is a little lacking of. He doesn't have that clutch gene to hit the game-winning shot. Saw it last year with Kawhi. What? Go on.
No, you said Kawhi doesn't take plays off. He takes games off, though. Him and that load management.
He does. There's nothing wrong with that.
There absolutely is something wrong with that. What do you mean? LeBron doesn't win championships? He's got 3 of them. Came back from a 3-1 deficit in 2016. Yeah, all right, but the Lakers are going to win this year if the season continues.
If LeBron was smart, he should be load managing. If he was smart, he should take some games off.
No, he loves the game so much. That's why you play, right?
He should.
Why do fans come?
Injuries?
Why do fans come to the game?
He's being a little bruised. He should sit out. At his age, it's smart for him. It's the new age of basketball.
But he can still hold his own at 35. So why would he need to sit out? If he doesn't want to sit out, he shouldn't sit out.
He shouldn't sit out. He shouldn't have to. But if he was smart, he would. It would help him.
All right. I want to get into what you said about Giannis's jump shot. Obviously, Giannis is not a sharpshooter. That's a given. We know that. However, you have seen tremendous improvement of his jump shot this year.
You have. It has improved. I will
And
give you that, but it's not there yet.
and obviously, you brought up the Christmas Day game. He wasn't hitting shots. But that was in the first half of the season. You saw in the second half of the season, towards January and February, that he greatly improved his jump shot and he was hitting threes. So that's why I have him at number one, because once he gets that jump shot, he'll be the best player in the league, and there's no doubt in my mind. And he's my pick for the MVP this year. That's what we went through. So I think he's the best player in the league. I love LeBron. He's my favorite player of all time, but I got to give it to I think Giannis is better than him this year.
I say no just because of that jump shot. I mean, if we're ranking players, if we're talking about the seasons they're having statistically, Giannis can be up there at one. But I think overall player talent-wise, I think that jump shot is leaving him behind LeBron and Kawhi at the top.
I disagree. I absolutely disagree.
I mean, I think
If
there's
you get
no
if you
doubt
get
in
if
my
you get
mind that
it,
those three are the top three. LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, top three.
yeah, obviously those are the
undoubtedly.
top three. It's just a matter of, and it's a very hard discussion to have.
It is. It's your preference. I don't think there's a wrong. If you told me it was LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, Kawhi, Giannis, LeBron, Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi, I won't say you're wrong. I just disagree. It's my opinion's different. That's all.
It's kind of like
those are the top three.
It's kind of like the GOAT discussion. Pretty much everyone says the GOAT is either LeBron, Kobe, or Jordan. I'm happy with either. I'm happy with any answer. I personally think it's LeBron, but that's neither here nor there. It's a topic for another day. So the next topic we want to dive into, I saw this on Instagram. We wanted to talk about Derrick Rose, and we wanted to talk about his career in general from 2008 to present day. Me personally, growing up, Derrick Rose is one of my favorite players, still is today. I had his shoes growing up. I loved Derrick Rose. But there was a lot of questions on Instagram, and I saw some people arguing, and I was actually arguing too. Does Derrick Rose belong in the Hall of Fame? So, Justin, I have to ask you, do you think D Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame?
No, absolutely not. No. Now, don't get me wrong here. I am a big Derrick Rose fan. I love Derrick Rose.
I might walk off, but
no, yeah. There is absolutely no way you can have him inducted into the Hall of Fame. No
yes,
way.
you can.
No, you cannot. Yeah, sure. He won an MVP.
Youngest MVP ever. The youngest MVP in NBA history. He broke an NBA record. How does somebody that breaks a record not go into the Hall of Fame?
That doesn't make.
He should be in the Hall of Fame for just what he did in Chicago alone.
He barely should have his jersey hung up in Chicago.
Yes, what are you talking about? He's one of the greatest Chicago Bulls of all time.
How many rings he win?
Who cares? So rings are just the thing. So what? Matt Barnes should be in the Hall of Fame.
No, but he hasn't won anything with him.
Yeah, but he's the youngest MVP in NBA history.
No, he had one good MVP season.
Look at his accolades. He's the 2008-09 Rookie of the Year, 08-09 Rookie First Team, a three-time All-Star. He was on the 2010-2011 All-NBA First Team, won a World Cup, and I'll say it again, the youngest MVP in NBA history.
Cool.
That's a hard thing to break.
That's 1 year.
But he went up against Dwight Howard in his prime and LeBron. That was like the discussion, and he got chosen over Dwight Howard and LeBron for the young. For
Hall
the
of Fame isn't based on 1 year. Hall of Fame is based on your career, not just one season.
But even with his career alone, he should be in the Hall of Fame. If you stopped his career, if he retired tomorrow, he would be in the Hall of Fame.
No way.
Absolutely.
Not even close.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. 100%.
He wouldn't be close to a Hall of Famer if you stopped his career today. If he went on and wins a ring or two with a team and contributes, then maybe. But until then, no.
So what? I mean,
I have a good example for you.
A ring just pushes him over?
Here, listen to this. You know who Bill Walton is? Former MVP winner? Okay, right? Him and Derrick Rose. They basically played the same amount of games. Bill Walton had 468. Rose had 470 so far. While Rose has a much higher points per game at 19.5 to Bill Walton's 13.3, Wilton was a center and led the league in leads in rebounding advantage 10.5 to 3, and Rose does lead 6 to 3 in assists. But I mean, he's a point guard, so there's some discrepancy there. Bill Walton won 2 titles, one with Portland, one with Boston. Rose hasn't won anything. Walton was a Finals MVP as well. Rose doesn't have that. Walton was a Sixth Man of the Year.
You're comparing a center from the 70s to a 2010s.
They both played the
point guard?
same amount of games.
Who
That's why I'm
cares?
comparing them.
It was a completely different game, and they're
But they're two completely
different.
They played the same amount of games. That's the only reason
players.
you can have them. No, that's the only reason you can
They're
have
two
them.
completely different. What are you talking about? They're two completely different players. And
they're exactly the same
Bill,
player. They
Bill
played
Walton.
one MVP.
Bill Walton had trouble with injuries during his career.
So he
went through. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Bill Walton's in the Hall of Fame, no?
Yes, because exactly what I'm about to tell you. He won 2 titles. Rose hasn't won any. He's a Finals MVP. Rose isn't that. Rose hasn't won Sixth Man of the Year. Walton has been first team once and second team once. Rose was only a first team once. Walton was selected the defensive first team twice. Rose did not win that ever. Walton also has the edge in win shares 39.3 to 34.4. I love Derrick Rose. 2011 Derrick Rose was something special to watch. He had the moves, he had the finish, he had the world. He was going to become someone that we were all obsessed over about, even today. But that didn't happen. If it would have happened, he'd be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But he can't. His Hall of Fame legacy ended when he blew out his knee. That's it.
Yeah, but
he never won a championship. Never made it to an NBA
But he
Finals.
broke an NBA record, and it's been almost 10 years. It's been 9 years, and nobody's broken that record yet.
So that doesn't mean anything. It's one record.
Of course it means that. He's the youngest MVP in NBA history.
Cool. He didn't end up having a good career.
For what he did in Chicago, just alone, what he did in Chicago, he's in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
John Wall retires right now. Are you retiring his jersey?
He's not an MVP.
Joel Embiid retires right now. Are you hanging up his jersey?
Didn't win an MVP.
He's up there with same stats as Derrick Rose.
Didn't win an MVP, but he's not the youngest MVP.
MVP is a pointless award that was voted on.
Okay. They voted him over Dwight Howard and LeBron. They said he had a better year than Dwight Howard in his prime. We're talking about Orlando Magic Dwight Howard, which was something special. And we're talking about LeBron James.
Yeah.
And the league voted Derrick Rose over both of them because they thought he had a better
one season. It was 1 year.
All right, but we're talking about a guy that was 23 and outplayed
what happened
LeBron
after he was
and
23? What happened when he was done?
What does that matter? I just listed you all his accolades. He was an all NBA player and he won the youngest MVP.
Once. How many Rookie of the Years he won? He won one. Same as Michael Carter Williams. Michael Carter Williams a Hall of Famer?
You're comparing Michael Carter Williams to Derrick Rose?
Yeah, because Michael Carter Williams had one good season, just like Derrick Rose. Same thing. John Wall, Joel Embiid, they're not Hall of Famers if they retire today. They've been busted with injuries. They've had good seasons. Derrick Rose had one good season. He's not a Hall of Famer. Absolutely not.
You got to put some respect on Derrick Rose's name.
You got to go back. He's not a Hall of Famer.
You got to go back and watch some highlights. That's what I think you need.
If he goes and continues to play and he wins games,
but you see that. But you see, like he's coming back.
He's not winning anything. He's not winning anything in Detroit. He hasn't played well. He's played okay.
Well, he might not stay with Detroit his whole career.
Okay, he goes somewhere, wins 2 championships there, then I'll consider it. But until he wins anything or goes anywhere in the playoffs, he's nothing.
If Derrick Rose goes to a contender, let's say Derrick Rose goes to a contender, like right now, he will be a top contributor for that team. He might not be the number 1 contributor, but he will be a top contributor. If he went to the Clippers, for example, imagine if the Clippers somehow managed to get Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
They would win the title.
If he performed on them and contributed and won championships, yeah, I'd give it to him.
You're saying just one ring. What about Yao Ming? He's in the Hall of Fame. Never won a ring.
Yeah, exactly. But he had a good career. He had more
than one good year, didn't he?
Derrick Rose did not. Derrick Rose had one
very good year. What are you talking about?
Year.
Yao Ming got injured and he had to leave the league because he got injured so much. He never won an MVP. He never won a championship. He never won an MVP or a championship. So by that logic, if he never won a ring and he had a good career, then he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, right?
He had a longer career. He played better.
What about Allen Iverson?
Allen Iverson?
Hey, what about Allen Iverson?
Yeah, he had a great career.
But he never won a ring.
Yeah, but he had a great career. He had more than one good year.
Derrick Rose. So did Derrick Rose.
No, he didn't.
So did Derrick. Yes, he did.
He did not.
Yes, he did.
Even Chicago fans don't think he should be a Hall of Famer.
Well, then they're not real Chicago Bulls fans.
Then that's bias. What you're saying is bias right there.
What are you talking
a fan,
about?
so you think he should be. I love Derrick Rose,
not
but
at
he's not
all.
good enough.
It's not
You
biased
just
at
said that.
all. No, that's not what
Yes,
I
you.
said at all. No, no, no,
That's
no, 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 no,
it's
no, no,
exactly
no,
what
no,
you said.
no, 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 no. I don't think.
Exactly what you
No, no, no,
said.
no, 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 no. I said he should be in the Hall of Fame because he broke an NBA record. He's the youngest MVP in NBA history. He was on an All NBA first team. He was a 3-time All Star, 08-09 All Rookie first team, Rookie of the Year. So absolutely by default, he should be in the Hall of Fame, especially
What's
with
your definition of Hall of Fame?
a player that has won an MVP, has been the best player in the league once.
So you think if
A top
somebody doesn't end up winning an MVP, they should not be in the Hall of Fame?
No, you're not getting what I'm saying.
That's what you just said.
No, you're not getting.
That's exactly what you just
That's
said.
not. No.
You said that won an MVP?
No. You twisted my words. You look at
No,
the
I'm quoting you exactly.
the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame lets so many players in that shouldn't be in. Like that, you can at least agree with me on that, right?
I agree with that.
There's some players that should. So even if
I
you
don't care if
disagree,
he gets in. He
even
can
if he
get in. I don't think he won't. I personally, if I was in charge, I would not put him in. Would voters put him in? They could because of the reasons you say. But in my opinion, that is not strong enough. He needs more than one good year. MVP is nice, but it only means you were good for one season. To make the Hall of Fame, you need more than.
But he wasn't just good for
MVP
one season. He was good from 2008 to 2011. Came back and he's been good
He's
since.
Been terrible since then.
What do you mean?
Not been the same player.
What do you mean? He dropped 50 points 2 years ago.
Cool. Kobe dropped 50 points his last game too. When you shoot that many shots, it's easy. Anybody can drop 50 points when you're just shooting. You take 100 shots, you can score 50 points. You only need 20 of them to go, 20 shots to go in.
D Rose is a Hall of Famer. We got to end this discussion because we still got more to discuss. You got to put some respect on his name. Mm-mm. And if you're like Justin and you think that he should be in the Hall of Fame, go back, watch some D Rose highlights from the early 2010s, and come back to me. Seriously?
Yeah, he was a spectacular player.
Spectacular.
In those years. That's not good enough to make.
Well, what about this year with Detroit? Career. He's doing really well. He might win MIP.
He's averaging like 14 points off the bench. That's not great for a Detroit team.
He's having a comeback. He's having a comeback. That's more than I can say about Yao Ming.
Yeah, but that's a totally different thing.
How so?
Yao's been retired.
Derrick but I'm talking about during his career.
Yeah, Yao also played longer and had more success when he played.
All right. Well, who's to say that Derrick Rose isn't going to play for a while?
Well, obviously, but you're going off of right now. You can't go off the future.
No, I'm going off of what he did in Chicago, which alone should put him in the Hall of Fame.
He'd be lucky
so many people
to get his jersey hung up in Chicago.
If you have what do you mean? Did you know how beloved he is in Chicago?
He didn't do. He never actually.
They go crazy for him in Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, but I know one thing: those Chicago Bulls fans love Derrick Rose.
You don't know anything.
What are you talking? No. I know that Bulls fans love Derrick Rose. Some Bulls fans love Derrick Rose more than they do Michael Jordan, and that's a fact.
No, it's
some Bulls fans love Derrick Rose more than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, if you were an 8 to 13.
All right, if you're a Bulls fan, I want you to comment. I want you to comment below if you're a Bulls fan. Tell me who your favorite Bull of all time is.
You just said Bulls fans like Derrick Rose better than.
No, I never know. I just said the fans might love Derrick Rose more than they did Michael Jordan because he's from Chicago, came from nothing, has this Cinderella story that he did. He's just a kid from Chicago who gets to play for his hometown, and he dominated there.
No.
We got to move on. We're going to talk about another player that just got injured. We'll talk about Kevin Durant, and we're going to go back to the 2016 summer, July 4th. I'll never forget it.
I remember watching exactly where I was when the news broke.
I remember exactly where I was. Down the shore. I was in Wildwood, New Jersey.
I just finished my parade route for the 4th of July parade. Yeah,
I think it rained. Didn't it rain? I don't know. It might have rained in Wildwood.
It wasn't raining here in Philly, but
it might have rained down the shore. But it was. Yeah, I think it was raining down the shore, which made it just all gloomier. So, what we wanted to talk about, we were talking off camera about his career, and we were talking about his signing with the Warriors and what we thought of it. And I'm wondering, what do you think about Kevin Durant? Did he ruin the league when he signed with the Warriors? Did he really, just screw everything up? Did he start this super? What are your thoughts on Kevin Durant's decision?
For me, I didn't like the decision. I understand why he left OKC, and I'm happy he chose somewhere else. I was really hoping it wasn't Golden State, though. I don't blame him. Obviously, he needs the rings. Everyone was dissing him for not being able to win rings. I thought it was a bit of a snake move to go join the team you just lost to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that was right of him, but because he joined a super team. The Warriors were already a good team
Warriors
that he
went 70.
joined.
Yeah, they went 73-9
Yeah,
already.
it's different. I mean, it's not like LeBron going to Miami. I mean, obviously Miami was a good team, but LeBron didn't leave and go join the Celtics.
Yeah, but
He
Miami,
went and
yeah,
formed his own team to beat the Celtics. That's what Kevin Durant should have done. He should have went somewhere, formed his own team to go take down the Warriors. I don't like that he joined them.
yeah, and a lot of people bring up LeBron's decision to go to Miami, and they kind of try to compare. Oh, well, LeBron joined Wade and Bosh to create a super team. No.
No, he didn't.
No. In Cleveland, when
He joined
LeBron
there to create a super team. He didn't already join a super team.
so that he could beat Boston and ultimately win a ring.
Exactly.
Because when he was in Cleveland, he couldn't beat Boston. So he hit up Dwayne Wade, hit up Chris Bosh, said, hey, let's try to beat this powerhouse, which honestly, Boston was the super team before the Miami and Golden State, right? KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Rondo in his prime. That team was a super team. They had 3 All-Stars.
If LeBron left and joined the Celtics, that'd be the equivalent of KD leaving the Thunder and joining the Warriors. He didn't. He went and joined the Heat, which is why that was okay, and that's why I do not like Kevin Durant's move to Golden State. He joined a super team. He didn't form one. He joined one.
And I think he should have left OKC, especially when Russell Westbrook is there, because I really don't think Russell Westbrook can play with anybody else. I just think he's too much of a ball hog. I think he's too much of a stat pattern for that. But that's a whole nother discussion. If you know me, you know I'm not a Russell Westbrook fan. So I think Kevin Durant should have left because that was a really toxic place for him to play. Not to say that the Thunder is a bad franchise. I just think, Russell Westbrook really messed him up. That's my opinion. It was the fact that he went to Golden State, the team that he lost 3-1 to. You know what I mean? So I remember that summer, I think the Clippers were in the conversation of signing him, which would have been amazing. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre
That
Jordan.
would have been kind of joining a super team too, but it wasn't the team he lost to.
Yeah, but it wasn't the team that you blew a 3-1 lead to.
Exactly. No, I agree with that.
I think, Miami was in that conversation too.
I think it was the Wizards, his hometown Washington Wizards.
I don't think the Wizards were in the conversation.
No, they were. It was his home team. Just like they were in it again.
I thought it was kind of like
that was the team I wanted him to go to. I wanted to go see him play or join the Wizards. That way, I could see him more often here in Philly.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I didn't know that the Wizards were like in serious talks with that.
I mean,
at the time they probably were.
3 teams.
Say that again.
I think they were one of the 3 finalists for Kevin Durant at the time. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Well, that was the summer that Gordon Hayward was a free agent too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe I'm getting it mixed up because I remember Boston was in the conversation with Gordon Hayward, and he was also in the conversation with Miami.
No, Boston did make a pitch as well at him. So I remember they made a big deal about trying to get they had the Tom Brady come over for him, had a meeting.
I remember that. That was a crazy summer.
Yes, it was.
Not even just for like free agency for basketball. That was just a cool summer. That's off topic.
Something we won't have this year.
I know. I've been thinking about that. Like, remember 2016? Like the music that came out. I know this is off topic. This isn't about the NBA. But remember the music that came out?
2016 was a fantastic
That was
year.
Awesome. If I could go back to any summer, it would be 2016. To relive
I agree with that. Definitely agree.
You had the Cavs come back from the 3-1. That was just an amazing summer.
Great year.
So how do you think that Kevin Durant will fit with Brooklyn? I mean, because I feel like, now that he left Golden State and there was all that drama with him and Draymond Green and him just not getting along with the team, I feel like all is forgiven because he left and went to Brooklyn. So how do you think he'll fit with Brooklyn?
I honestly think it's a bad fit. I don't like
it.
I think Kyrie has a lot of that Draymond personality, and I think they may clash a bit. I know they're good friends. I mean, Draymond and KD were good friends too. When Draymond was the one recruiting KD to Golden State at the end of that Thunder Warriors series, so they started out as friends too, and it turned bad. I see a lot of that same personality. I'm just not a big Kyrie fan. I don't like his style. I think he's a little selfish when he's out there. Him leaving LeBron, I didn't like that whole situation. I don't like how that all played out. He wanted to kind of go get his own team. He got his own team in Boston. That didn't work out great. I mean, he's now here, but he's now under somebody's wing again, which was what he didn't want. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I'm not sure how KD is going to do either. I mean, he's coming off that Achilles. I'm skeptical of that. I do not like Achilles injuries. It takes a while to come back from them. Normally, I always say this, the first year back from the Achilles injury, you're not the same player you were before. It takes a year after surgery till you're back to playing, and then it takes a whole nother year till you're back to your normal self.
Unless you're a unicorn.
Yes, and he is, but I don't like any of that. I don't like guessing with injuries. I always put my mind to the worst. That way I'm happier with the outcome.
Here's the thing. At first, I would have agreed with you because I was skeptical because Kyrie and KD, I agree. You know, they both need the ball in their hands. They're both very ball-dominant players.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, off the court and even not on the court because obviously they're very competitive, but off the court, they're amazing friends. They are really good friends. And I feel like
so
that
we're
this
Draymond and KD, though.
But not how Kyrie and KD were.
I
feel like they'll talk it out. And I feel like this is something that they have talked out, that they say, hey, we both need the ball in our hands. We both want to be number one options, but let's try to make this work because we can give the East a run for its money.
No, I agree with that. I'm not sold yet. People are saying, oh yeah, they're going to be the next year. They're the number one seed in the East, no doubt. I'm not giving that a lock for sure. Top 5 team, yes.
They'll be a top there.
Yeah,
I think they'll be top 3.
They'll be in the
personally.
top half, but top 5 for sure. I'm not going to give anything else though. I'm not sure. Kyrie struggled to stay healthy. There's no guarantee they come back, and they've both been injured the past couple years, so I'm not guaranteeing them that they'll have success.
But if you also
they could both get hurt next year when they come back. I mean, you never know that.
Yeah, it's possible, but I'm kind of playing the win healthy game with this. You have to realize too, the tools around KD and Kyrie, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, you have Joe Harris. You have shooters, you have role players that can help you. So that's why I think that they'll be a top 3 team when KD and Kyrie come back and when this season comes back. And I think honestly, this
talent-wise, they're a top 3 team.
Yeah, on paper right now they're a top 3 team. I think they will. I think they still will be when the season comes back. And I think this suspension for KD is bittersweet because this gives him time to recover and this gives him time to get ready for when the season comes back and when next season rolls around. So I'm really, as a Sixers fan, it's kind of hard for me to get excited about Brooklyn, but they'll be interesting to watch because, like you said, Kyrie and KD, they are very ball dominant players, but I think that they can work it out.
It would definitely take some getting used to. I think they'll actually struggle in the beginning.
Right. I think it'll be rocky at first.
The Heat team did. Every team when they first joined struggles. So I wouldn't be shocked if they struggle to begin with, but I do think they'll finish well, assuming they stay healthy and they end up finding how to gel together.
So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see.
Although one thing was the Nets actually played better with Kyrie off the court this year, which I thought was a little
I would agree
weird.
with that.
And so I thought that was a little weird. Maybe they could I like Spencer Dinwiddie a lot. So I'm not saying they would, but obviously they're friends. So I don't think they'd trade KD or Kyrie, but they could always end up trading a package of Allen, Dinwiddie, and a first, or Harris. Yeah, like some combination. Like they'll probably keep Jordan because Jordan's friends with KD and Kyrie. But if you were to trade like Allen, Harris, Dinwiddie, and a first for a star, that might be able to land you one.
No, definitely. I would agree with that. So, yeah, that was a great discussion. Great discussions overall this episode. I want to thank you guys.
I really like this.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And stay safe.
Thank you. Yes,
safe.
definitely stay safe.
Adios.